From this country?
No, I'm fine. I was with them.
Action to entertain you now.
Contact. Let them know what to do.
What if I told you that a single extra day in the United States could cost you 10 years of your future? Many people who visit America on a visa believe that staying a little longer than allowed is not a serious issue. It's just a few days, who will notice? My friend did it, and nothing happened to them. However, as of today, September 7, 2025, this common belief is one of the most dangerous myths in U.S. immigration. The rules have become much stricter, and the consequences for overstaying your visa, even by a single day, are more severe than ever before. This small mistake could destroy your chances of ever returning to the United States for work, family, vacation. We will break down the complicated rules into simple, easy-to-understand language. We will explore the common myths that lead so many well-intentioned visitors into trouble, and compare them with the harsh reality of the law. You will learn about new penalties that can include fines, immediate visa cancellation, criminal charges. The goal is to give you the clear, straightforward information you need to protect your future, and avoid making a mistake that could have devastating and long-lasting consequences on your life and your family's dreams. We will also look at real-life scenarios to help you understand how these rules apply in the real world. Imagine a student who stays an extra month after graduation to travel. One of the biggest and most common points of confusion is understanding when their authorized stay officially ends. Many people look at the visa sticker in their passport and see an expiration date that might be 5 years in the future, or 10 years in the future. They mistakenly believe this date is how long they are allowed to stay in the U.S. This is completely wrong, and is a critical misunderstanding that leads thousands of people into overstaying their visit. A visa is simply a travel document. It acts like a key that allows you to knock on the door of the United States and ask for permission to enter. It does not determine the length of your stay. The most important document that dictates how long you can legally remain in the country is your Form Y-94, Arrival Departure Record. This record is created electronically for most travelers when they enter the U.S. by air, when they enter the U.S. by sea. A Customs and Border Protection officer at the port of entry will inspect your documents and decide how long you can stay. The date they decide upon is stamped in your passport or recorded in your online I-94. A very common and dangerous myth is that overstaying your visa by just a few days or weeks is a minor issue the U.S. government will overlook. I only stayed 1 week longer to help my sister with her new baby. My flight was too expensive, so I waited 2 more weeks for a cheaper one. They think good intentions and a short overstay mean no serious consequences. In 2025, that couldn't be further from the truth. Even a single day of overstay has immediate and permanent consequences on your immigration record. The moment you overstay your authorized stay, as shown on your I-94, your visa is automatically void under Section 222G of the INA. To return, you must apply for a new visa at a U.S. embassy or consulate in your home country. The consular officer will see the overstay on your record. An overstay of any length can make you ineligible for certain immigration benefits. You generally lose the ability to change your non-immigrant status, from a tourist to a student, or adjust to a green card holder from within the U.S. Very limited exceptions exist, mainly for immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. Most people must leave to fix their status, which can trigger more severe penalties like long-term bars on re-entry. When someone says a short overstay is no big deal, that's terrible, outdated advice. Another widespread and harmful myth is the idea of a universal grace period after a visa expires. Many travelers come from countries where it's common to have a few extra days or weeks after a visa expires to organize departure without penalty. They naturally assume the United States has a similar forgiving system. This assumption is a trap that catches thousands of unsuspecting visitors every year. The hard reality is that for most non-immigrant visa categories, including the very common B1 and B2 tourist and business visas, there is absolutely no grace period. Your permission to be in the country ends on the exact date listed on your I-94 record. If your I-94 states your authorized stay ends on October 31st, 2025, you are expected to depart on or before that day. If you are still in the country on November 1st, 2025, you are officially an overstay. There is no unwritten rule or informal understanding that gives you an extra 10 days, 15 days. In 2025, the landscape of immigration enforcement has shifted dramatically, with a laser focus on individuals who overstay their visas. The US government now treats visa overstays as more than an administrative issue. It's now framed as a national security and public policy problem. This has led to new laws, pilot programs, and advanced surveillance tech. Flowchart: Visa Overstay Penalties Act, Bond Pilot Program, Continuous Vetting. Visa Overstay Penalties Act, Bond Pilot Program, Continuous Vetting. The old mindset of disappearing after a visa expires is ending. The government is closing loopholes and raising risks for rule breaking. Major development: the proposed Visa Overstay Penalties Act of 2025. It would make overstaying a federal criminal offense. First-time offense, up to 6 months in jail, fines from $500 to $1,000. Repeat offenders, potentially up to 2 years in prison. This shifts overstays from civil penalties to a criminal record risk. Bond Pilot Program launched August 2025, targets visitors from countries with high overstay rates. B1 and B2 visitor visa applicants may need to post a cash bond. Beyond the new criminal penalties and financial bonds being introduced in 2025, the long-standing consequences for overstaying a visa remain firmly in place and are being enforced more strictly. These penalties are known as the 3-year and 10-year bars on re-entry, and they are triggered automatically based on the amount of time you spend in the United States in unlawful presence. It is crucial to understand how these bars work, because they are not discretionary. They are mandated by law. Once you trigger a bar, it is very difficult to overcome. The first major threshold is 180 days. If you accumulate more than 180 continuous days of unlawful presence, but less than 1 year, and you then voluntarily depart the United States, you will be automatically barred from re-entering the country for 3 years. This means that for 3 full years, any application you make for any type of US visa will almost certainly be denied. Tourist, student, work. The clock on this unlawful presence starts ticking the day after your I-94 expires. This bar is a direct consequence of your overstay, and it applies even if you leave on your own without being caught by immigration authorities. The second, even more severe threshold is 1 year. If you accumulate 1 year or more of continuous unlawful presence and then depart the United States, you will be automatically barred from re-entering the country for a full 10 years. And it is a devastating consequence that can separate families and destroy professional and personal opportunities for a decade. Imagine not being able to visit your children. One of the most persistent myths in the world of immigration is that marrying a United States citizen is a magical solution that erases all past immigration violations, including visa overstays. Many people believe that once they are married to a citizen, their overstay is forgiven, and they can easily apply for a green card without any issues. While it is true that marriage to a U.S. citizen provides a potential pathway to legal status, it is far from an automatic fix, especially under the strict enforcement environment of 2025. For someone who entered legally and then overstayed, marrying a U.S. citizen can provide a significant advantage. In that scenario, the overstay may be forgiven, allowing the person to apply for adjustment of status, a green card, from within the United States. This is a special exception for immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. However, immigration officers will scrutinize the marriage closely to ensure it's bona fide and not just for immigration benefits. Any sign of marriage fraud will lead to a denial and severe penalties. The real problem comes if the overstayer leaves the United States. Leaving after more than 180 days of unlawful presence triggers the 3-year bar, 10-year bar. If you are reading this and have realized that you have already overstayed your authorized period of stay, it is natural to feel scared and uncertain. The most important thing is not to panic and not to hide, as this will only make the situation worse over time. While your options are more limited than before, there are still proactive steps you can take to manage the situation and minimize long-term damage. Act quickly and seek professional advice. Navigating this area of law on your own is extremely risky and complex. The first and most important step is to consult with an experienced immigration attorney. Do not rely on advice from friends, family, notaries. Immigration law is incredibly technical, and an attorney can confidentially review the specific details of your case. They can determine exactly how long you have overstayed. The message for anyone visiting the United States in 2025 is clearer and more urgent than ever before. The rules regarding your stay are not flexible, the once common myths about visa overstays. that a few days do not matter, that grace periods are universal, that marriage is an instant fix. Those myths are now dangerous fallacies that can lead to life-altering consequences. Today, with stricter laws, advanced surveillance, and a government commitment to enforcement, overstaying a visa is a serious mistake. The risk is simply not worth the reward of a few extra weeks or months. Your most powerful tool is knowledge and preparation. Before you travel, and certainly after you arrive, you must understand the difference between your visa and your I-94 record. Your I-94 admit until date is your legal deadline. Respect this date as you would any serious law. Keep a copy of your I-94 record with your passport and set a reminder on your phone well in advance of its expiration.